Hey guys, it's your girl Me-Anie. I am going to give you guys some of the details on what happened. Okay, where are we going to put this? I should have thought about this prior. Maybe here is good. Alright, so you guys watch me post stuff on my Instagram, and I talked about a couple weeks ago, I think it was like the 7th of July or something. Oh, hell no, we ain't about to do that. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know where the hell that noise is coming from. Anyhow, I talked about how, somebody broke in. Oh, there it goes. Somebody broke into my house. 1 second. I do this all the time, and if you watch my videos, you know how it goes. But I do apologize. All right. All right, so I have this set up just in case anybody is in here while I am typing or talking. You could ask me questions and I can answer. This fool done broke into my shit. Anyhow, a few weeks ago, I want to say it was probably like the 7th of July, yeah, that sounds about right. 7th of July, I came home, probably like 4:30, came home from school, to notice that my front window was broken. And immediately I started thinking, okay, did the cat and the dog, get into like a little tussle? Because they play around. They get along really well, but at times they kind of tease and torture each other, so it's really funny. So I immediately started thinking that maybe one of them like slammed into the window, broke it. And I got out the car. My boyfriend and I, we actually pulled up at the same time. He probably got there like a minute or two before me. And I saw him outside like looking around, and I didn't think anything of it. So I get out, looked at the window, and I immediately like go to open the door. Now my door there's something called a smart lock. What I haven't shared this story with you guys from a previous video I wanted to do. When I got rid of my last roommates, like I immediately changed my key. It's called like a smart key or smart lock or whatever. So the problem was my top and my bottom lock are different keys, and I can't get the key for the top lock. So basically only the bottom lock works. At night when you lock the top and the bottom, we lock it from the inside. So he leaves through the front, and I'll leave through the front and the back because I have a key for both doors. Either way, I go to the front door and I put my key in. The bottom unlocks, but I can't get the rest of the door open. So I asked him, I was like, why did you lock the top door? And he said he did. So right then I started panicking, because if he didn't lock the top lock, how the heck is it locked? Because he can't leave out the door and lock the top lock from the outside. So I panicked and I ran around to the back of the house. And as I'm about to open the back door, something told me to just, look around the corner and look at the windows. So I look around the corner, look at the windows. The screen to my bedroom window is ripped off and like thrown aside, like it was thrown over the canoe. I have a canoe out back, just thrown over the canoe. And I was like, what the fuck? I started panicking. Immediately I started thinking, okay, somebody done cleared my house out, took my iMac, my iPad, like everything. So I jumped through the window, like instinct just like jumped through the window. I didn't even finish opening the door. I ran inside, ran to the living room, and I'm panicking. I'm looking around to make sure the pets are okay. I couldn't see, like nothing was missing. So the whole time my boyfriend is outside like shouting, telling me to, open the door, because I'm already in the house and he doesn't have a key for the back door. So I run back to my bedroom, which is, the back of the house. Run back to my bedroom, open the back door, let him in, and we're looking at everything. So there's about 4 bedrooms here, and 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Every single door in the house was open. Like every door was open, and we normally keep them closed, especially if the AC is on. Like, there's no need for the air to be circulating in these rooms that we're not using, so we keep all the doors closed. Plus, like, the cat, like, he'll come into one of the bedrooms with the carpet and start ripping it up, so we keep the doors closed. So I'm like immediately panicking. We go to like the two front rooms, which is a living room and one of the bedrooms that I have my study in, and the windows are kicked out, but they're kicked out from the inside. And we're trying to understand, like, okay, why did this person come into the house? Evidently, they didn't take anything, but they come in and they kick out the front windows. It just made no sense at all. Like, the windows are kicked out from the inside because you can see the glass going outside. Now, if it was kicked in from the outside, the glass would be inside the house. So I start panicking. I call the cops. I go back outside. And I'm just like livid at this point because this is the second time that somebody broke one of the windows to this house. Maybe like a month or so prior to that, some kids or something going home from school, I think they were probably playing with a ball or rocks or whatever. They threw a rock and it broke the bedroom window, the master bedroom window. So to make a long story short, I called the cops. The cops finally came like an hour and a half later. I had to call the cops twice. The second time I called the cops, once I was looking around, I actually saw like there was blood outside on the windowsill. So I started panicking, and I'm like, well, that's a good sign because at least now we have like some type of DNA on this food. So call the cops the second time, and I told this lady, I was like, look, you know, there's blood on my windowsill. I don't know what's going on. And she's like, well, next time can you not call the emergency number? Don't call 911. Call your local. I was like, this. And as I'm about to open the bitch has to be freaking kidding me. Like, are you serious right now? So of course I started exaggerating. I was like, look, ma'am, it's an emergency. There's blood outside my window. I haven't been in my house yet. Lied. Haven't been in my house yet. Don't know if somebody is in there or what. Like, you guys need to come ASAP. Still took them like a whole nother like 45 minutes to an hour before they got here, which was freaking ridiculous in my book. Finally, they showed up. They started dusting everything. And as I'm telling the cop, like, you know, nothing is missing, they're trying to figure out, okay, do you have people around here that don't like you? Like, because right now it seems like revenge. And I'm like, no, I go to work, I go to school, that's it. I don't associate with anybody around here. I don't have time to, literally. Like, that's all I do. And my boyfriend and my girlfriend Simone at that time, they're telling me, like, I really do think that it's your ex-roommates. And I'm like, I really don't think it was them. Like, the motive just seemed kind of off. Yeah, I can understand somebody coming to break, bust out the windows. But at the same time, you come in the house, you don't take anything. At that time, I didn't see anything. You bust out the windows. Like, it just seemed to me like it was a young person that was watching us, because the very first day that both our cars were not here, that's when it happened. So, like, everything was just telling me, like, look, this has to be a young person that's out of school. They had to be watching us, because if you come into a house and you hear a dog barking, you don't know what kind of dog it is. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to proceed. Like, you're not going to keep coming. So this person saw that, both the cars weren't here. They knew what kind of dog I had, because Siler, he's in a freaking wheelchair. His legs aren't working, so they're not going to be worried about that. So they knew all this, and they decided to break in when we weren't here. Now, what kind of puzzled me was the fact that they didn't take a bunch of electronics. But after speaking to the cop, he said, most people when they... What are you doing?
Scissors.
What happened?
Scissors. Scissors?
No. I don't know where the scissors are. Look in the bathroom in my makeup stuff. Threw me off. Where was I? The cop said, most time when people break in, they'll take stuff, especially if it's in daylight. That's when a great amount of the crimes happen, supposedly. When they break in, they'll take stuff that's easy to kind of like blend in when they go outside. So I was like, I can't understand why they didn't take my camera. Like, my little camera was sitting out front, my iPad, my boyfriend's laptop, his is not an iPad, but some kind of tablet that he has. Like, all this stuff was sitting around in the living room from the night before when we were up studying, doing our work, whatever. none of this stuff was going. So later I started making a joke to the cop because we were going back and forth. He was like, do you have people that don't like you? He was like, did they take your food? Like they were all in my fridge joking around, my friend, my boyfriend, the cop, and I was just like standing there like, y'all got jokes, y'all real funny right now. So I made a joke to the cop. I was like, no, I didn't make up that my big LD camera was gone. And right there, like, it snapped to me like I did not even check for my camera. So I run into my bedroom panicking, and I look on my dresser, and I just like, I fell out, like I busted out crying, because my big camera that I normally would record with, not normally, but I used to record with my camera. It's a Canon 60D that I bought a few years back. That was gone. It was on my dresser, and that was gone. Like, the person went through my drawers. They went under my bed. Like, my mattress was all out of place. They went through, like, I have this kind of like a, not really a futon, kind of, what's it called? A storage little seat at the foot of my bed. And all I had in there was candles, but they like started digging through that. My projector was thrown off on the bed. I'm like, what the hell was this person looking for? So as soon as they came into my bedroom, the very first thing that they saw was my camera on my dresser. So they grabbed that, which is, it makes sense. It's easy for you to, throw a camera around your purse and act like you're taking pictures or whatever and leave. So that I can understand. But not leaving with, all the other stuff was here wasn't really making sense to me. So luckily enough, I still had my box that had my receipt and all that stuff, the serial number in there. So the officer stopped. The officer took my serial number down, and he told me, the good thing about it is if they go to a pawn shop, they have to record the serial number. So when they do that, the pawn shop, they have to hold anything that's sent in, anything that they get from somebody that's selling it, they have to hold it for 30 days. And along with that, you have to be at least 18. They'll get your ID and your fingerprints. And then most pawn shops still have a camera. So about 48 hours later, the detective called me. Cat wants to go outside. Here, go. And don't be scratching up my door either. So about 48 hours later, the officer called me, and he's like, we got good news. Meet me down at this pawn shop. Your camera just popped up in the system. We have your camera. And he was like, now, bad thing about it is, and I don't know why it's like that here, most places, not most places, I know New York is one of the states that if something is stolen and is sold to a pawn shop, you can go retrieve your item without paying for it. But here in Florida, if they sell something to a pawn shop that's stolen, you have to pay what the pawn shop paid that person in order to get your property back. So he's like, well, your camera's at the pawn shop. The person person got paid $60 for it. And I was like, well, this person got to be stupid. Like, they must not know how much my camera is worth, because if you took $60 for a camera that was about $1,200, something wasn't adding up. So either way, I was excited. So I'm driving to the pawn shop to meet the officer, the detective, and he calls me back, and he was like, oh, I have semi-good news. It's not your whole camera. When I got here, it was only the lens. I was like, damn, like, this fucking sucks. But good thing that came out of it, they were able to obtain the person's the identity of the person. So they got the ID, fingerprints, got a video camera of a video footage of the person. And the officer, he asked me, he was like, do you live on such and such street? Or no, he asked me, he was like, where do you live? And I told him. He was like, is that close to such and such street? I was like, yeah, that's like the main street off of my street. So come to find out, this fool like lives around the freaking corner, and it was exactly what I said. It's a 18-year-old boy. He goes to like a high school that's close by, and he lives like around the corner from me. So I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me? So a couple days later after that, I called the cops back. But while we were at the pawn shop, he said, at this point it's pretty much, slam dunk. We're going to put out a warrant for his arrest and, try to get the rest of the camera back. I called him back a few days later for an update because I haven't heard anything. And he said, they picked him up. They arrested him the night before. And as far as the camera, he didn't have the camera. He said that he found my lens at a park. Now, I don't go to no damn parks. I don't have no kids. I got silent, but we don't go to parks. We actually went to the park a few days before, but I didn't take my camera with me. And why am I taking my lens off? It's not like I'm switching lenses out or anything of the sort. So it was just really, you're going to lie. When you're caught in a lie, you're going to try to lie to get out of it, but it doesn't make any sense at all. So, yeah, somebody just said it's always someone who lives close by. And that's what I was saying. It had to be someone that lived pretty. The thing is, like, he's not directly on my block. Like, you have to go down the street and around the corner. That's how far apart we live. It's kind of like a 7. If you look at it, the way from his house to my house is a 7. So I was just like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, you found my camera at a park? So the officer was like, we'll go speak to the mom, see if she'll let us search the rest of the house and see if we can find the rest of the camera. So as of now, I haven't heard anything back from where they are right now with the whole process. I looked them up online because I went down to the police station so I can get a copy of the police report. When this happened, I had just came back from a field trip at school. Like, where'd we go? We went to go like do something on some horses or something. So I got home and I had a test the very next day. Like, this thing broke me all the way down, and I couldn't even study because the blood that was outside the window happened to be my cat's. My cat, after everything happened, he went through the window and he got like all cut up. Like, under his paw was cut, the front of his leg was cut, the ear was all scratched up. So I noticed it was his when he was laying down on the floor and his foot looked weird. So I grabbed him and the bottom of his foot was like cut loose. And I had to go take him up to my job. And that ended up being like $300 to get him. He had to be sedated. We had to like get him all stitched up. And then when I was looking at him while he was sedated, I noticed like his whole freaking toe, one of his digits, the whole toenail was ripped out. So I don't know from him like going through the window or what, but his whole digit was ripped out. Like, it was just a stub, no toenail, no claw, no nothing. I'm like, this is freaking horrible. And then the next day, come to find out, like, he's squinting. So the doctor is wondering, okay, does he have like, corneal ulcers? Like, did his eye get scratched? Because he kept sitting there like this the whole time. I just felt horrible because I had to pay like $300 to get all this stuff together for him. And then he had on a comb for the next few days. And I felt bad because, pets, they don't like that shit around their neck. They don't like combs and all that. And one night I woke up, he's sitting there panting. And panting for cats is not normal. Not like dogs. They shouldn't be panting like that. So I looked up and his mouth is just open. He's sitting there like this. Like, his mouth is open. So I get out of bed and I go look. The freaking gauze, because once they put a cone on, I don't know if I have it in here, they put a piece of gauze around it. So the gauze was around his neck, and it was actually like in his mouth because he tried to get it off. So all night, I don't know how long he was sitting there with it, but all night his mouth was strapped open. It was strapped open to the point where saliva just like soaked up all around the little gauze, because when I took it off, it was soaking wet. I felt so bad. I'm like, this freaking cat just cannot catch a break. But it's just ridiculous at this point. Like, I'm just waiting to see, what's going on, because the lease that I have here, it states that, windows and stuff is going to be my responsibility. But I'm not paying for no damn windows. I'm not paying for these windows to be fixed. They came and they finally fixed them. And I have the police report, which I'm going to send to them. But I'm not paying for these fucking windows to be fixed. That's not my problem. It was not me that did it. Crime in this neighborhood or whatever the case is, I'm not paying for it. So I'm going to send that off to them so they can get that covered. But it's just too much. Like, I don't know. People just, it broke me all the way down. And for some reason, I was so angry. Like, I was crying. I was just so upset because, like, what possessed people to just break into somebody else's house? Like, it's bad enough. Okay, if you want to take something, that's fine. It's not fine, but okay, we understand that. But why go through the hassle of vandalizing? Like, why break stuff? What was the point? I don't understand. Like, were you trying to get out through the windows? Like, it just didn't make any sense at all. So, like, those are questions that I would love to get the answer to. Like, why did you come in and steal? Why did you not take as much as you did? Why did you only take what you did? Why did you break the windows? Like, I don't understand all that. It's probably not for me to understand. But it kind of left me at a point at a point where I'm thinking like, you know, all the shit that you have really doesn't mean anything, because if you aren't happy, then what's the point? What's the point of having all this shit? So I don't know. I believe everything happens for a reason, and I was lucky enough to come home and still find a lot of my belongings here, and I'm gladly that, you know, the dog wasn't hurt as well, or the cat wasn't hurt a little bit more seriously. So it just left me with this realization that all the stuff that you have really does not mean a damn thing if you are not happy. And I have so much shit that I need to start, like, I need to start getting rid of stuff, because I have a lot of shit that's not needed at all. Like, why do I need 5 cameras? Why do I need all these freaking electronics? Why do I need all this stuff? The whole reason behind me purchasing my big camera is because, oh, I'm going to start recording in high definition and blah, blah, blah. I had that camera for 4 years. I bought it right around the time that my biological father died, which was probably like 4 years ago. And I can count on both hands and probably one of my feet how many times I've used this camera. So it's like I buy stuff because I want it, and then when I get it, it's like, what do I get next? Because I don't know, like, am I trying to fill some kind of void or some shit? I don't know. It's just ridiculous. It's this whole thing is kind of opened my eyes as to I need to downsize on some stuff and kind of get back to the basics, because I have more than I need, and I should not have all that I do. I just wanted to give you guys an update on what happened with this fool breaking into my house. I don't know what's going to happen from here. My camera, I shouldn't, you know what, honestly, I should not have even purchased the lens back, because now I paid $60 for freaking camera lens and I don't have the damn camera. Worst case scenario, if I was really thinking, I should have left it at the pawn shop, because they still have to hold on to it for 30 days. And then if they found my camera, I would have went back and bought the lens. But I don't know. I just figured, I don't know. I just reacted and I bought my lens back. So, somebody asked, do you think he was watching your apartment prior to the break-in? Yeah, I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I honestly do believe that he was watching my apartment, because, watching the house rather, because I was off of school for a week. We had vacation, and I was pretty much home from school a lot, and then I would go to work during the day. And then my boyfriend also, he's in school, so one of us would be here at some point during the day. And even if we both left, one of the cars would still be here, so it would make someone think that somebody was at the house. So the very first day that both of us go back to school and we were kind of on the same schedule, that's when it happened. So that led me to believe that somebody was watching the house. And then along with that, my boyfriend told me that when he was home, like during the days, like somebody knocked on the door. 3 different times somebody knocked on, 3 different days somebody knocked on the door. Now, we don't know anybody around here. We don't have anybody coming to us. So I be like if you're not expecting anybody, don't answer the door. Like, what do they want? Honestly, don't answer the door. So I think it was probably somebody trying to, you know, test out if, you know, the car's outside, is somebody home. It was just weird. So I do believe that the house was being watched, and they knew, like they probably saw me walk in Siler before, and it's just like horrible, because people work hard for what they have. Even if you don't need it, people work hard to obtain things, and then for somebody to kind of like invade your space. And I felt so uncomfortable here for the first week that it happened. The very first night after it happened, I didn't sleep in my bedroom, because that's the room that they came through. I didn't sleep in my bedroom, and I actually have not slept in my bedroom since. I've been sleeping like all over the house, every which way. I've been sleeping in the living room, like one of the other bedrooms, like just everywhere. I have not slept in my bedroom as yet, because I just don't feel comfortable all the way. So it's sad, but that's how it is. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I got a little color going on in my hair. It's getting a little bit more darker. But I absolutely I absolutely love and adore it. That's all I wanted to say for this video, guys. Give you an update on what's going on with this damn breaking, because I know a lot of you had questions and wanted to know if everything was okay and, you know, what happened. So that's about just a summary of everything that took place as of now. I Googled the guy, found his ass, and it's really crazy because when you get a police report, they put all that information on there. It put where this boy lives, how tall he is, what school he goes to, his birthday, his telephone number, his house phone number, his address, like everything. I drove to this fool's house. I really did. I got in my car and I drove to the house and I sat in front of the house and I was like, okay, so this is where this fool lives. And it's crazy because if, you know, if you were a person, or if I was a person that wanted to, you know, do some kind of harm or revenge, like they give you everything that you freaking need on a piece of paper, which I think is good, and then it's bad. Now, just give me the person's name. I could do a lot with a name. So I actually Googled his ass, and I posted the picture on my Instagram. I actually Googled his behind and found the mugshot. I found the mugshot on mugshots.com, and he's being charged pretty much with a felony. It looks like he got arrested one time prior. So they have it down as breaking and entering, lying to false information to a pawn shop, stolen possession, something like that. And then on the bottom it said domestic violence. Now I don't think that pertains to our case right here, because I don't know who he was being violent with domestically, but that was on there too. So I don't know if that was like his previous charge or what. Either way, it's saying that he's still in jail and he's being held without bond, and the crime is going to be a felony. So I'm sure this is not like one of the top cases for the detective handling this, so he's probably just on a as he needs to go basis. He hasn't called me back with anything as yet, and it kind of sucks because you watch this shit on TV and you start thinking my boyfriend honestly believes like everything that he sees on TV. I'm like, look, that shit you see on TV, that's not how it really happens. You're not gonna fucking go to court and sue this person and all that bullshit. No, it doesn't happen like that. I don't know exactly how it happens, but I know that's not the way that it goes down. The way they make you think that shit happens on TV. The cops, number one, they don't show up right away. Number two, when they do come, it's like hours later, and then nothing fucking happens. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I hate the whole process that I'm going through right now, but hopefully I can take something from it. It's starting to make me think more about my surroundings, and then I don't know, like trying to simplify my life a little bit more. I'm doing this challenge and I posted it on my Instagram. It's called, I think it's called like a declutter challenge or some shit. But it's basically where you get rid of a certain amount of items every day for 4 weeks. I think it said 4 items or 6 items, 7 weeks. No, 6 items, 7 days, 4 weeks. And I want to go ahead and see if I can do that, because I think once I get rid of things, it's going to cleanse me like spiritually a little bit, and then I can start to kind of rebuild and repair the way I feel about this whole situation, because I'm a little jacked up. Somebody is commenting on the video right now. I just watched, I don't know why, this is Beyond, I think, is this? Yeah, couponing. This is a girl that I used to talk to about couponing. B_Yan. I just watched, I don't know why I couldn't comment. That's crazy and sad that people do that to you. Yeah, I don't know. My luck is kind of stupid. I have stupid luck, but at the same time, everything happens for a reason. So I do believe that there is going to be some kind of greater good that comes from all this. I'm going to go right now and start getting rid of some of the stuff that I have in the garage, because I would love to get my garage totally empty and possibly be able to park my car in there. or just to have it empty. Yeah. So I'll probably do another video a little bit later. I'm gonna go find something to do. Oh, there are these two freaking cute kittens at work that I want. I think I might go bring them home for a few hours because we're closed today and they're just gonna be there all by themselves and they need some lovies. So I might go get these babies and bring them home for a couple hours. But I'll check in with you guys a little bit later. It's really hard for me to do videos again because I don't know, like, I don't want to be talking about hair all the time. Even though I honestly do like my hair right now a whole freaking lot. Alright guys, I will talk to you later. Gonna get out of here. Until next time, keep rising. Bye.